Steelers Nation, buckle up, because this week might just be one of those games that really tells us who this team is. There's a storm coming, and that storm has a name, Justin Herbert. Yeah, the same guy who's lighting up the league right now, putting up numbers that don't even look real. He's sitting at the top when it comes to rushing yards among quarterbacks, leading in completions, and second in both passing yards and touchdowns. It's wild to see someone do all that while still keeping his team in the playoff conversation, especially considering the chaos around the Chargers' offensive line. Both of their starting tackles are gone, and their run game has been patchy at best. Still, Herbert just keeps finding ways to make plays, dragging that team along with him like he's carrying the whole franchise on his back. Now, let's be real, this isn't just another matchup. This is a statement game for the Steelers. The defense has been trending upward, showing flashes of that old-school Pittsburgh bite, but now they get to test it against a quarterback who can burn you in every possible way. This isn't like facing a stationary pocket passer. Herbert could take off on you, extend plays, and hit those deep shots when you think you've got him cornered. The players know it, too. You can feel it in the locker room. There's that quiet edge, that sense of we're going to find out how good we really are. Joey Porter Jr. said it best after practice. This is about proving themselves against one of the best. It's about going good on good and showing they can hang with anyone. And that's where the focus has to be, on execution. The secondary looked sharp last week against the Colts, but this week is a whole different animal. The group is still finding its rhythm. Jalen Ramsey at safety looked fantastic, which is a huge win considering it was his first extended run there. Kyle Duggar's story is almost unbelievable. Walks into the building, grabs a badge, gets on the field, and suddenly he's playing nearly every snap and walking away with a game ball. That kind of energy has been contagious. It's what this defense needed. But with a guy like Herbert, there's no such thing as comfort. One mistake, one hesitation, and he'll make you pay for it. The key is going to be the pass rush, plain and simple. The Chargers' offensive tackles being out is huge. That opens up the edges for the Steelers' pass rushers to really do what they do best, get after the quarterback. We saw what it looked like against Indianapolis when T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig were all unleashed at the same time. That was the balance Pittsburgh's been searching for all season. When those three are rotating and attacking from different angles, it's chaos for any offense. And that has to be the formula again. The coaching staff can't fall back into that weird hesitation they had earlier in the season where Herbig was stuck on the sideline. Let the dogs hunt. But here's where things get tricky. Herbert isn't just another quarterback. He's built like a tank, moves like a running back, and reads defenses fast. So, the Steelers can't afford to overcomplicate things. They got to keep that defensive philosophy simple. Line up, read the keys, and attack. Last time they faced a dual-threat quarterback, things got way too messy. Everyone remembers that playoff game against Lamar Jackson when they tried to get cute with the scheme. They overthought every situation, ran stunts that went nowhere, collapsed on the wrong guy, and by the time they adjusted, it was already too late. That can't happen again. The formula has to be aggression and trust. Trust in the guys next to you, trust in your read, and trust that if you get beat once or twice, you don't stop coming. When this defense is at its best, it's not because they're running some genius scheme. It's because they're flying around, hitting people, and playing with controlled chaos. That's what guys like Watt and Highsmith thrive on. They don't want to sit back and react. They want to dictate the game. You can see it in their body language when they're turned loose. When the defense is allowed to just go, they play faster, looser, and honestly more dangerous. The coaches have talked about simplifying things, and that's exactly what that means. It's not about dumbing down the playbook. It's about taking the thinking out of the equation and letting instincts take over. This whole idea of simplicity has been growing inside the locker room for weeks. Guys have been talking about how they finally feel like they're in positions that make sense. Against Indianapolis, for the first time all season, everyone looked comfortable. Every player knew his job, and more importantly, believed in the job he was doing. That's when the magic happens. The pass rush feeds off the secondary. The secondary feeds off the front seven. The linebackers fill gaps with confidence instead of hesitation. It looked like a Steelers defense again, not just by the stats, but by the attitude. You could feel that edge coming back, that swagger that's been missing. And that's exactly what they'll need to bring against the Chargers. Because no matter how talented Herbert is, no quarterback likes getting hit over and over again. If the Steelers can collapse that pocket early and make him move before he wants to, that's when mistakes happen. That's when the interceptions start coming, the timing breaks down, and you can flip the game in your favor. Pittsburgh's defense has always been about identity. When they're physical, when they set the tone, everything else starts to fall into place. But here's the reality check. Herbert's going to make plays. He's too good not to. He's going to escape a few sacks. He's going to throw a couple of lasers that make you shake your head. That's fine. The key is not letting those moments break the defense's rhythm. Stay aggressive. Stay confident. Keep swinging. That's how you beat a quarterback like this. You don't wait for him to make a mistake. You force him into it. What makes this matchup fascinating is that it's not just about the physical game. It's about the mental one. The Chargers know they're undermanned on the line. Herbert knows the pressure's coming. The Steelers know that Herbert can turn any broken play into a highlight reel. It's a chess match, but with shoulder pads. And in those moments where everything breaks down, that's when leadership matters. That's when guys like what Fitzpatrick and Porter need to take command, keep everyone calm, and keep the energy focused. You can feel the stakes rising as this one approaches. Pittsburgh's been building something quietly, piece by piece, since the early weeks when everything looked disjointed. Now, there's a chance to prove that the growth is real, that this isn't just another flash of potential. The Chargers, for all their flaws, are still a dangerous team because Herbert makes them dangerous. But the Steelers are starting to remember who they are, and when they play their brand of football, when they dictate terms instead of reacting, they can hang with anyone. This is the kind of game that can define a season. You go toe-to-toe with one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks, and you come out with a win. Suddenly people start looking at you differently. Suddenly, all those close games, all those lessons learned in the ugly moments start to mean something. This is where Pittsburgh has a chance to flip the narrative, to turn the noise into belief. And it all starts with the same simple mindset that's been growing since Dublin. Get after it. See the guy with the lightning bolt on his helmet? Go get him. That mindset, get after it, has become more than just a phrase in the Steelers' locker room. It's the heartbeat of what they're trying to rebuild defensively. For a while, it felt like the team had drifted from its own identity, almost overthinking every snap, trying to play the modern analytical version of football instead of the Pittsburgh brand that's been the foundation for decades. You could see it early in the season, guys hesitating instead of attacking, dropping back into coverage while quarterbacks picked them apart underneath. But something changed over these past few weeks. It started with communication. Then it became trust. Now it's starting to look like belief. Belief that they can impose their will on an opponent again. Belief that if they just play fast and physical, the results will follow. And when you talk to the players, you can tell they've bought in. They've stopped worrying about trying to be perfect on every down. They just want to create chaos. That's where guys like Peyton Wilson come into the picture. His breakout has been one of the biggest shifts in tone for the entire defense. He's not just making tackles, he's setting a tone. He flies around the field with a kind of reckless control that makes everyone else step their game up. After that win in Dublin against the Vikings, he talked about how much better things felt when the coaches simplified the plan. At first, that sounded like a cliche, but the more you see it, the more it makes sense. Simplified doesn't mean easier. It means sharper. It means everyone knows their job and can play at full speed. When you think about it, that's what the best Steelers defenses have always been about. You can go all the way back to the old steel curtain days, and it's the same story. They weren't trying to outsmart people. They were trying to out-hit them, outwork them, out-tough them. That attitude carried through generations. And now, as this team tries to find its identity in a league that's constantly changing, it's that same attitude they're leaning back on. This defense isn't built around finesse. It's built around bite. It's built around players who'd rather knock you down than dance around you. It's interesting, too, because you can feel this shift not just on the field but on the sidelines. The coaches are starting to call games differently. Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin have loosened the reins a little, letting the guys play with their instincts. Instead of micromanaging every coverage and every blitz package, they're trusting the defense to read and react. That trust is everything. You can't play fast when you're thinking about what the playbook says you should do. You can only play fast when you know exactly who you are. And that's what we saw last Sunday against the Colts. For the first time all season, everything looked synchronized. The rush, the coverage, the tackling, it all clicked. You could tell the players were feeding off each other. The energy was contagious. Every time Watt or Highsmith got close to the quarterback, you could see the rest of the defense light up. Every time Ramsey or Duggar made a hit in the open field, the sideline exploded. That's what Pittsburgh football looks like when it's working. That's what it's supposed to feel like. But as much as that game felt like a breakthrough, it's still just one step. The challenge now is to make that the standard. The Chargers aren't going to give them anything easy. Herbert is going to test their discipline, their communication, and their patience. He's going to move the pocket, look off safeties, and try to bait the linebackers into overcommitting. The Steelers have to stay composed while still being relentless. It's a delicate balance, controlled aggression. That's the line every great defense walks. Too conservative, and Herbert picks you apart. Too wild, and he burns you over the top. One of the big differences this time around, though, is the maturity that's finally showing up. Guys like Porter and Highsmith aren't rookies anymore. They've seen the highs and lows, the wins and heartbreaks. They understand the rhythm of a long season and how moments like this can change everything. You can hear it in the way they talk now. There's less noise, less frustration, more focus. They know exactly what's at stake. They know that if they take down a quarterback like Herbert, they send a message, not just to the rest of the league, but to themselves. And honestly, that's been one of the biggest evolutions of this team. Earlier in the season, you could sense frustration bubbling. Every time something went wrong, every missed tackle or busted coverage, it felt like a weight. Now it's different. Mistakes don't break them anymore. They adjust. They respond. They line up and go again. That resilience, that ability to keep coming no matter what, that's what makes the Steelers dangerous again. When you watch them on defense now, you can almost see the confidence building in real time. It starts with a hit, then a sack, then a third down stop. Each play adds another layer of swagger. And the fans can feel it too. You can hear in the crowd that old roar that used to shake Heinz Field. Well, Acrisure now, but you know what I mean. That sound's been missing for a while. Now it's starting to come back. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing with speculation this morning as rumors swirl around a potential shocking departure. Aaron Rodgers may be leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sources close to the situation hint that the superstar quarterback, known for his sharp arm and ice-cold composure, is considering a move that could send shockwaves through the league. While nothing has been confirmed, insiders suggest tensions in Pittsburgh's locker room, coupled with Rodgers' well-documented desire to chase a championship before the twilight of his career, could be driving this rumored exit. Rodgers joined the Steelers with high expectations, bringing with him not only his legendary skill set, but also a level of leadership that fans hoped would elevate the franchise. However, murmurs of locker room discord and strategic disagreements with the coaching staff have persisted throughout the season. Some sources hint that Rodgers feels constrained in the current system and is weighing his options for a team that better aligns with his vision on and off the field. The timing of this potential move could be crucial. With the trade window approaching, speculation suggests that several teams might be lining up to negotiate. Among them, perennial contenders and franchises with aging quarterbacks could see Rodgers as the missing piece to push them over the top. Meanwhile, Steelers fans are holding their breath, torn between hope that Rodgers stays and anxiety over what could be the biggest shakeup in recent team history. While Rodgers himself has remained tight-lipped in interviews, social media chatter has only fueled the fire, with cryptic posts and subtle hints interpreted as signals of impending change. If the rumors prove true, the fallout will be felt across the NFL, reshaping playoff projections and draft strategies alike. For now, the league watches in suspense as the question lingers. Is Aaron Rodgers truly leaving Pittsburgh, or is this just another chapter in the quarterback's storied saga of surprises and unexpected moves? One thing is certain, if it happens, the Steelers fan base will be in for a roller coaster of emotions. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.